So I just made a video on removing the transmission. It took me 49 minutes. I did have to struggle a little bit with a few bolts. This vehicle here has 80,000 miles on it, and clutch A forks are sticking. In the colder weather, it wasn't as bad, but when it warmed up a little bit to like 50, 60 degrees, the fork A would stick halfway, clutch would slip. You get the message on saying stop vehicle for 5 minutes, transmission overheating, blah blah blah. That means your clutch is slipping. Things are getting hot. That's even worse for all the metal because it expands, it sticks more. So if you're getting that message, you got to remove the transmission, and either best thing to do is replace the forks and the clutch. I know everybody says that. Why don't you replace blah blah blah? You can, and if you have the money, replace the whole transmission. Get a new transmission, you know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I don't know how much new ones are. Used ones, people are selling them for like $2,000. The problem is, if you get a used transmission, don't just put it in. You still got to remove the clutch and clean it up at the very least. If not, replace everything in there, because you're gonna have the same problem. If not at the beginning, later down the road, you're gonna have the problem with the clutch, forks sticking, blah blah blah. But as you can see, look how much dust is in here, and it stinks. If you could smell it, it's still hot, and I drove this car like hours ago, so things got really hot. It did pull in here on its own though. As you can see in the previous video, I pulled in here. It was like revving to like 2,500 RPMs. Clutch was slipping, but I didn't have to push it. It actually pulled in here. So I do have another transmission already rebuilt, ready to go. But even with the lower miles, actually, that transmission I have rebuilt is less than 60,000 miles. But I do want to take this clutch out because I will be using this transmission on a adult size go-kart that I'm building. It's outside, it's dark, you can't see it, but I'm building a adult size go-kart out of a Ford Focus. That should be fun. I'm gonna take it off-road, probably put some mud tires on it. You know, it's ideas are endless. So so this transmission is most likely gonna get rebuilt, and I'm gonna put it in. I do have an engine over here. So this is a transmission that's already rebuilt, ready to go. This one's gonna go in the black car. But this engine came out with a slight knock. I don't care about a knock, it runs good still. I had to replace it out of a car, but I'm gonna put this engine, probably dump a bunch of Lucas in it, maybe some kind of like brake fluid, I don't know. Like I said, the ideas are endless. But so I'm gonna pop this clutch out, and we'll take a look and see what's going on in there. I'm still gonna do it, so I might as well do it on video. For real though, if you do get a used transmission, don't just put it in. Make sure you take the clutch out, inspect everything, make sure everything is working as it should. Clean it. If the forks are okay, clean them up, because I like to keep original forks if I can, because original ones actually I think are better than the new aftermarket ones. But some people will probably argue about that, so it's just all up to you. I mean, original parts are always better, in my opinion. Oops. What I'm doing right now is removing the retainer clip that holds the clutch in, and technically you're not supposed to reuse it, but the way I removed them, they actually can still be reused. It all depends. Like sometimes I've bent them before, but I have a bunch of good ones, and as you can see, this one is still good. It's not bent, nothing. And I was wrong. This transmission was taken apart because someone actually used a marker and marked the triangle to line up with the flywheel. So that's why maybe all the bolts were stuck, because they were over torqued. I don't know, but people will be like, he's not even using the right tools. I have the tools. They take forever to get the clutch out, so this is how I do it right here. Everything comes out at once, including a bunch of dust. So far, I thought maybe this bearing was shot. Bearing seems good, but clutch forks were never replaced. If anything was done here, this is a new clutch. So the dealer did update the clutch, but clutch is never the problem. Those discs are just slipping because of the forks in there, you know? So I don't understand. Somebody at Ford, hear me out. When you do the recall, don't replace the clutch. You can reuse the clutch, replace the forks instead, and the actuators maybe, and the TCM. The clutch is fine. You guys are replacing clutches for no reason. So in this case, what I would do is I'd probably just remove the forks. I'd probably just replace them. I mean, just all depends. Let me pop these actuators out and then take a better look at the forks. So let's talk about some of the problems on this. The TCMs do fail, but I'm pretty sure they fail because of a bad battery, low voltage, or when your car dies, you're jumping it, you know, with the jumper cables or booster box. And this TCM apparently doesn't like spikes in voltage. Like, it just wants to see that 12 volts or 13 while it's running or whatever, but it doesn't want to see low voltage or higher voltage. And when you jump in the car, it could be higher. So the TCM in this was good because you know, when I tried to do a relearn and everything like that, so it went through all the procedures, but it would fail when it was actually trying to move the forks, especially the fork A was sticking, so it would fail at that point. This bearing looks like it got pretty hot at some point too, obviously because the clutch was slipping. So if the dealer would do anything, is they should just replace. Oh, this is broken. So this is broken. It's just see. So it may not even be the forks in this case. Okay, so this would just stick, I guess. Yeah, so the bearing's no good. So we might be lucky with the forks here, even though I always have new forks in, you know, in stock. But it may be just the bearing in this case. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna remove the forks right now and take a look. I should probably wear a mask when I'm working on these. This clutch smell is just so not cool. Okay, so this is fork A. As you can see, this thing got pretty rusty. But it's a good fork still. You can see it moves freely. So, well, no, because the fork itself is fine, but this roller over here is missing. A little plastic shim, completely missing. So that could be getting jammed, and that's why it doesn't want to roll. But the fork itself is fine, and you can replace those rollers if you just open it up like this, slide it out. You can get these rollers out, and if you have a used fork with good rollers, you can actually replace it. Because see, there's a little plastic washer there, and there's not one on this side, and there's supposed to be. So that gap right there, it could make it, you know, stick, and it doesn't want to roll back and forth. So I might be lucky on this one, and what I can do is just clean it up, change this roller out, and we'll be good. And change that bearing out. Very cool. And let's look at the B. Fork B. Oh, and here's that little washer. Melted. It was chilling next to the fork B though. So that might have been getting stuck somewhere. Because the forks are flawless. They just need to be cleaned up. These rollers are all good. So, one little thing. That one little thing on the roller and the bearing. I don't know if the bearing broke when I was removing it. But, I mean, the bearing itself is fine. It's just the little plastic clips. Like, why would you put plastic in here anyways? It, like, it gets hot. Like, who designed this? Oh, there's some kind of more plastic in there. Yeah. So, whatever. Easy fix in my opinion. I'm not going to mess with this right now. I'm just going to throw everything in here like this. Because this is actually going into my fun project car. The adult size go-kart, probably convertible, Ford Focus with a bunch of horsepower. So to review real quick, basically, if it's your TCM, the car will probably won't even start, and you would have a code for like internal fail. Usually, I think is the code for the bad TCM. And then if it's a bad TCM, sometimes it won't have, it won't do a relearn. It would fail. But most of the time, the problem is in here, you know. And if the TCM or the actuator can't move the fork where it needs to be, then the TCM's like, okay, something's wrong. You know, the clutch is slipping because it pushes it in, but it doesn't release it. The fork goes in, but these actuators, as far as I know, they only, you know, move it out, and then it's spring loaded. It's supposed to come back on its own. If this actuator was both ways, that may be a fix for it, because there's really no permanent fix for this, unless, like I said, maybe if you lube up the forks once in a while, like every other oil change or something like that. But whatever, I don't know. I could talk about these transmissions all day. I just know it's an easy fix, and it shouldn't cost $7,000 like dealers charge. So if you want to hit me up on Instagram or the email, I'll probably help you out as much as I can. I'm in North Carolina, so I'm not gonna travel anywhere to pick up your car or transmission. But if you want to, you can send me your transmission. I'll rebuild it. I'll put new parts if you want, or if you want to save money, I'll just clean them up, you know, do it, and ship it back on your cost. But you can actually ship me the whole car if you want, because I don't know how many I can do, but I'm always down to help people out, so hit me up. This is actually fun for me to do, because you're taking something that doesn't work and you're making it work again. So I don't know, anybody can do this. You just have to have a few special tools, and if you don't know the tools that you need, you can watch my previous videos from like a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever. I've been working on these for a couple of years, and I learned on my own. I bought one of these cars because I was like, why is the dealer charging so much money to fix this? You know, like, especially if it's out of warranty, why do they charge so much? So I bought one of these cars off, I think it was a Facebook Market, probably pretty cheap. And then I just took a transmission apart, and I'm like, okay, it's full of dust. I think that one was like, the forks were rusted and they were completely seized, both of them, because these actuators are actually not sealed, so the water can get in there, or moisture and stuff like that, and that's why you see rust up in here like that. See, that's all rust because of the moisture getting in there. So I took one apart, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy some tools. I spent a couple $100 on tools. I actually bought all the proper tools to remove the clutch properly and stuff like that. Not like I just did, but it just takes forever. You gotta bolt it down, then pull it, then bolt it down again. It just takes so much time. Like, this is a way to do it, and I'm always about saving time, because time is money, money is time. I don't know, something like that. Whatever it is. But let me know if you have any questions. If you want to ship me a transmission, maybe hit me up on Instagram again. And like and subscribe. And later.